Hello friend. We all know that how important is TypeScript in the modern web development, whether you're talking about a front-end or a back-end development. And for that reason, I thought that why don't I prepare some video in context to TypeScript. But yes, there is a small but over here, and that is I have seen many places where the people have taken the data directly in the code, and that's not what I want. I want to come up with a program where the data will be given at runtime and your TypeScript should be capable of handling the data dynamically. So there would be direct interaction, and for that reason you can see I have splitted my screen to two half. On the left hand side you have seen the TypeScript code, on the right hand side you have a browser where user can provide the data, and this is what I always wanted, that the data should be taken at the runtime and that should be fed in the TypeScript so that the TypeScript can handle it dynamically. So let's see what the thing is. Well, this is the first video in the TypeScript series, and I know that this video is a bit advanced level, but that's what I wanted to do, just to make you an idea that how the TypeScript can be effectively used in the modern era. But don't worry, in the coming days I will break down this video into smaller parts and I will evaluate everything minutely. So at the beginning you can see there is a file called user.ts, and I've also got user.js. Well, this file I will not create, it will be created automatically as we go. For transpilation, yes, you need to transpile your code so that the TypeScript file will be converted into plain JavaScript which can be executed. And over here I would like to mention one thing, that is I'm using the module structure of ES6, and that's the reason why you will find the JavaScript would look somewhat like this, where the export default keyword, these things are coming, because if you're using the default common JS, then this would not be the pattern. But if you configured your TypeScript, then it would be in the form of ES6 pattern. Okay, so I have done the configuration of TypeScript. So now let's evaluate what this particular code is. Over here I have gone, well, some of the command line I mentioned because these are the prerequisite that you need. Well, let me stop my server over here. I'm running a local server to run this particular page. So let me clear the screen right now. Over here I have installed Node.js node, so naturally my npm would be already there, so I can just check my version. So that's the version. Okay, let me increase the zoom. Yeah, so here I have installed the Node.js, so npm would come automatically, and that's a Node version. And I've already installed TypeScript, and we can check the version of TypeScript by writing tsc-v, and that would show me the version. And this is the latest version of TypeScript which I'm using right now over here. Okay, so that's all. Now in order to run my local server, what I will be doing is I have to write something called http-server. You need this, then only your application would run on the local host at the port 8080, and then this particular application you would see very smoothly, and that's what you are seeing right over here. Okay, so let me just refresh the page, and here it goes. Okay, so what is there in this particular file? At first I have created one interface and I gave the name as iUser. Why do I need to create an interface? Because as you can see over here, I have got a couple of data, and what I wanted is these two data need to be put together into one single object. Yes, you rightly heard. I want to take this data from the user and I want to convert this two data together as one single object, and not just one object. There can be multiple objects. So that means in this particular program I'm specifying more on array of objects, and that's what you need to learn actually. So for that reason I create an interface, and this interface will define what type of object I will be creating. Right now over here I have got a couple of variables or properties, you can say so. One is a string type, another one is a number type, and that's the beauty of TypeScript, because you can specify the data type, which was not possible in case of JavaScript, old JavaScript. And now this interface is done, I need to make use of this interface, and for that reason I am making use of a class right over here. And in case of ES6 you have to go for export default, because you're going to utilize this class inside your HTML. And here it goes. Here I have my HTML page, and this HTML would be exporting, I mean the TypeScript would be exporting this particular class which the HTML needs to import. And as you can see right over here, I've created one dist folder inside with this particular user.js will be over here, and this import statement will come if and only if you are going for ES6 module configuration of JavaScript. And that's the reason why I have been able to write over here script type as module, because I will be using this this particular module over here. So let's see now over here. Well, in case of TypeScript, you can have multiple export there, but there should be only one export default. Keep this thing in mind. I repeat, there can be multiple export, but there should be one export default. So inside this class, I give the class name as user. Here I have got the encapsulation. As you can see, I'm using the private access specifiers. So these are the encapsulation been done over here. And as over here, I was saying that I'm going to work on array of object. So this is my interface name, and that interface I've created a reference over here, and this reference is going to hold an array. So that means inside this array, at every index, so at the 0th index there would be one object, at one index there would be another object, at two index there would be another object. So that's how it would be an array of objects. Don't worry, I will show you that. And since I'm gone for the class, so definitely I need a constructor because I have to initialize my object. So for that reason, I went for constructor, and these constructors are just meant to initialize the default properties which I have declared right over here, or member variables, you can say so. Okay, over here I have got one function, and then this particular function will be called from the HTML, where the HTML will be passing to data. As you can see over here, I have a name and I have an age. So name and age will be forwarded from the HTML. As you can see right over here, look over here, I have given a call to this particular import statement. That means after the transpilation is done, this file will be generated, and that what I'm going to invoke. And I have created one form over here. So from that form, I will be taking the user input, and apart from that, I have also gone for some div statement over here, and this div statement is right over here. So here I've gone for some div statement because I need to display some messages over here. Once the data gets submitted successfully, I will be displaying some statement over here, and for that reason I went for an empty div tag over here, as you can see. And that's what I also have gone for the identification of this div tag. Now I said that I will be creating an object, and this object will be created from this particular module or from this particular class. So for that reason, you can see over here I have given a call to the new keyword, and the class name is user. With the help of that, I'm creating an object right over here. So this object would be responsible to forward this particular call, and that has been done inside this button event click. Well, I have closed this particular option. I just kept this. I just want to keep it hidden for the time being, because I would love to see that you guys who can crack that what is happening behind this particular event handling, because over here the mystery lies, and because over here the data has been taken and then this call to this particular method has been done. So I just keep it for you guys to crack this mystery and tell me what is there inside this particular event function, and why not you try to come up with a solution of this. Well, definitely later on at the end of the series I will be revealing this part, but for the time being I will keep it as a suspense and just see who can crack this particular hack over here. Okay, remember, inside this particular call, inside this particular event function call, we are passing data to this particular TypeScript, and TypeScript is getting invoked. Not exactly TypeScript, I mean the JavaScript is getting invoked, and we would be getting the result subsequently. Okay, so that means from here the call, this particular object would call this particular method, and eventually will pass this to data coming from the HTML that would be assigned to these properties which I have created over here and over here also, and then I will be generating one object, and this object is going to be of type the user interface user. So here I created an interface, and I said at the very beginning that I will be using this interface for transforming it into an object. Yes, I will be creating an object of this interface type, and this is the local object that got created, and this object I'm going to inject inside my array. And I already created one array of users which is of type iUser. Inside this array I'm going to inject my object. So as you submit the data, as you click on submit button, every time it gets called the update user, and eventually you will be creating the new users, and that's how this particular part would be working. So here the data will come and get stored, right? So that's what we will see, don't worry. And then we will give a call to the greet function, and this greet function will display a message right over here. We would see even that also, and this message will come dynamically, because as you insert the data will come right over here. Apart from that, I also got one more display function, and here is something very interesting. If the greet function is returning me a string, because this is a string which you will be seeing, the display function would be returning me an array of object. Well, am I going to see this array of object in the browser? Of course, because I don't want to show you the console. I want to show you in the page. So for that reason, this display function is going to return an array of object. So eventually, in this particular class, I wanted to show you that I have a function that takes parameters. I have a function that returns a string data, and I also have a function that returns an array of an interface user type, and that array contains object. So that's what this particular TypeScript is all about. Okay, and let me run the code once, and let me start my compiler. His compiler is already working, so let me come down over here and let's get refresh. I refresh the page, yes, and now okay, let me bring some change over here so that you know that this is the exact page which is working over here. So TypeScript, oops, I'm adding this word over here, TypeScript, oops, and let me refresh the page, and that means here the reflection takes place. So that means exactly this file is working over here, so there is no doubt right now, isn't it? Okay, so let's come over here and let's give the input. So I give a very popular character called, okay, let's start with the uppercase, Peter Parker, one of my favorite character, and he's a young chap, so I give the age as 23. Submit button, I click. Oh my god, what do you see? That's what I was saying, that if you come to the greet function, you will be passing a string. Here is a string which I was referring. See, the name is whatever name I have given, and I am of this whatever data I have given, year old, and this is the object which I was referring. This is the object. So this display function is getting called, because if you notice over here, I also have got one more empty div tag which is of type unordered list. That means this is the data that is getting populated right in this empty tag, because over here there's no data. So that means every hack is happening right over here, and that's the mystery which you have to solve. What I have done over here, try to figure out and drop the message in the comment section. So here is what the object is getting populated. So right now I have got only one object inside this array. That means I can insert multiple objects. So let's go and check it out. Another popular character of mine is John Carter. So let me write, he too is also a young guy of 32 years. Well, let me just change this to uppercase, it would look good. So Carter, yes, and I click the submit button. As I do that, the immediately message gets printed because it is returning me a string, whereas this is returning me an array of object. Sound interesting, isn't it? I have seen many places where people has given this data hard coded, and that's what I didn't like. Let's do something different, isn't it? So I can add one more data, but wait. Are you sure that this particular file is working? I need to prove even that also. So what I will do is that I will modify a bit of code over here. Let me show you before modification what is the greet function returning. This particular string is returning, right? So definitely this string would also be there in the JavaScript. Let me come over here, and here is the JavaScript file, exactly what you see. Right, so let me bring some change over here, and I add the word called my name is, and I am of this year old. Okay, I'm put over here just year. I'm removing the plural. Okay, and now I need to compile my code, or I need to transpile my code. So that will bring my server over here. I need to stop the server, and then what I will do, I will go for TypeScript compilation, TSC. I hit the enter, and this would compile my code, and the compilation has been successful. So what is the consequence of this compilation? The consequence is this particular TS is now converted into JavaScript. And remember, my word was not there, and the year was having S, and if I come to JavaScript, look over here, the my keyword got added, and over here the S has been removed. So that shows that this is happening at runtime. And let's now start my server. So http-server, that would invoke my local web server, because I'm running a local server over here. And let me refresh that. From now onward, the message that will come is my name is. So let me go over here, let me add another data, suppose Raj Aryan, one of my favorite character as Raj Aryan. Let's go with the age of 32. I hit the submit button, and you can see, oh, I need to refresh the reload the page. So what I will do is that I will just go for, I will open my console so that I can clear the buffer at time this happens. So let me come over here, let me reload the page, empty the cache, and the cache has been done. Let's go for hard reload, and let's go for normal reload. Okay, great. So now let me close my this, and let me bring it smaller size, and let me put it over here so that you can see simultaneously. And let me now go for Raj Aryan, and here the age is 32, and I submit button, and bingo, now see it's showing my name, and the S is not there. This is working perfectly well. right? And I go for one more entry, and this time I write my name, who is Swaroop, and I go for the last name. I am pretty old guy, and I write my age as 68. I click on the submit button, and that's the entry that takes place right over here. So that means with the help of TypeScript, because you need to know TypeScript, because TypeScript is used in the React as in the form of Next.js or TypeScript implementation, or even you need to learn TypeScript for the backend for Node.js or for Nest implementation. So wherever you go, TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript. That means whatever the feature of JavaScript is, everything is there in the TypeScript, plus the enhancement that takes place. As you can see over here, how enhancement taking place. And make sure you're using the ES6 format so that these would look like this way, because over here there would be some changes as you find that the interface is not there in JavaScript, but that is there in the TypeScript version. So at the end of the day, again I will say, you don't worry about this code. I will split this code into a smaller section. In fact, what I thought is that over here I had just taken care about array of object, but in my next video I will be working on a simple object or a simple array, so that these things become more simpler. Okay, so that's all from this video presentation. See you soon in my next video. Until then, have a nice time. Bye bye, take care.